Okay, so we started the mock test here. We got to this junction. This van here blocked your view of cars coming from the right, and you didn't make a final check as you came forward past the giveaway line to see what could be hidden in front of the van. Then we took a right turn just on this bend here. You didn't look to your left enough for long enough or deep enough into the road to make sure that there's nothing coming from hidden behind these parked cars. Okay, so you must check again. As your view gets better, keep checking, be more thorough. So these are faults that could potentially be serious faults. So it depends on what the examiner feels like at that moment. If they could give you a minor fault, they could give you a serious fault if they think it's serious enough. It all depends. It's a grey area. It depends on how they feel you did and if they feel as if it was safe. I reckon it potentially could be a serious fault. Okay, so from what I've experienced, these are serious faults. Not being thorough enough, checking deep enough into the road to make sure nothing's coming. Okay, now this was your first serious fault, major fault that you would fail for. We're going right at the roundabout, taking the second exit. Keyword, we're going right. Okay, and you've used the left lane to join the roundabout. Okay, so I've seen this happen before, and the examiner has given a serious fault, something you'd fail for. So you must join from the right-hand lane if you're turning right at this roundabout. Okay, now you got a minor fault at this junction. We're turning left, and we can see to the right of this junction quite clearly. There was only one parked car, and you could see, and you had enough time to go here. You'll see how long it takes for the blue car to come. And this is a minor fault for hesitating. There was plenty of time to go, but you just didn't go. It's going to be a minor fault for hesitation. Okay, now you've got a serious fault for slowing down the vehicle coming from your right when joining this roundabout. Okay, so there's a white colour van coming from your right, and it came at quite a high speed, and as soon as you pulled out, the car was behind you and it had to brake. Okay, so you've made the car slow down, so it's a serious fault, major fault, something you would fail for. Your next fault was a minor fault for hesitating. At this roundabout, the view to the right is quite clear. There's no building or parked cars blocking your view. There's nothing coming from the right, and you've just gonna stop there and waited a little while. Okay, so this will be a minor fault for hesitating. Okay, so if your view is good, make your decision early. Your next major fault came at this roundabout. We're turning left, and the vehicle from the right, you've just not stopped for them. So I had to brake and stop you, okay? Because if I didn't brake, you would have carried on in front of this taxi. So taxi with the signal on coming from the right, and I had to brake and stop you. Imagine what would have happened if I didn't stop you. The taxi would have had to brake harsh, or they would have just crashed into you. Now, the next serious fault happened here. The sat nav says keep right. I've said to you, we're following for end circular. So there's a sign here, end circular is to the right. It just means don't take the next exit. That's what it means when the sat nav says keep right on the dual carriageway. So you've gone into the right hand lane here of the slip lane, and it just merges into one lane that you're in now. Keeping right means using one of the 3 lanes on the right. So again, the sat nav said keep right, and you haven't done anything. So then I kind of prompted you, you need to move into the right hand lane. And when you move into the right hand lane, you've slowed down the car in the right hand lane behind. Okay, so you've left it very, very late to change lanes, and you've ended up slowing down the car behind. So this is a major fault for slowing down the vehicle behind you. The next major fault was the same thing, same fault. The sat nav said go straight on, then go right to the roundabout. Okay, so we know we need to be in the right hand lane. When you change lanes here, you slow down the car coming from behind you. Okay, you've slowed down the car in the lane that you're going into, that was behind you. So you've got to change lanes without slowing down the other car. Okay, so if there's a car behind you, consider letting it pass to get in behind them, or speed up to get in front of them where there's a big distance between you and them. And the next minor fault was at this very roundabout where you need to give a signal to the right and you haven't given one. Okay, so this roundabout is not controlled by traffic lights. It's a give way system. So other cars need to know where you're going, so then they can plan and decide when to enter the roundabout. If they don't see your signal, they could assume you're leaving the roundabout because you haven't given a signal. But actually you're going to go right past them, people who are trying to join in. You should give a signal to them so they know not to join in while you're going past them. So you must give a signal if it's a roundabout that is not controlled by traffic lights. Another mistake you made was rushing to go around an obstruction. You would have gone into a 24-hour bus lane. So the vehicle in front of you, it went into a 24-hour bus lane to go around an obstruction, and you would have done the same if I hadn't stopped you. So you're going into a bus lane, you could get a fine. Now the other thing is you're changing lanes without checking the mirror sufficiently enough. You're checking, signaling and moving all at the same time. Okay, so there's got to be a procedure where you check, you signal and you move over within plenty of time, giving yourself plenty of time to check if anything's coming down the other lane that you're switching into. So check the mirror, take a second, give a signal, take another second. Then after a second, if it's still safe, then go around. So it's got to be a procedure where you check plenty of times to make sure it's safe rather than just rushing to go around an obstruction.